Case media.
Oh, yeah. You're
Every
looking for a
time I
break.
talk to Ronnie, he goes, we're doing it until they slap our hands. So,
And, yep.
and I almost texted, or I almost emailed you. Saturday's going to be good. He answered me. So. Now I don't got to worry about it.
Williams leave too?
Where's Darrell? Did he leave?
Who? Did Mr. Williams leave too?
I don't know. Did Darrell leave too?
I didn't think so. He was in the restroom.
Oh.
Last time we were here, he was playing in the restaurant too far away.
Yeah, you only got 3.5 more years. Huh? November?
Looks like his knee's okay. Looks like he
It actually is okay right in time for basketball season. Because they start playing on Monday. He should have punted.
He should have. I want to snap him in the coat. I would have just taken a knee. It's 2 points. It's 7.
That's what you said earlier.
I'm like, just kneel.
That'll end that. Yeah, we have 4 votes.
Where'd Darrell go?
That'll end that.
I have no idea where he went. He's number 9, but Philo took his name off, so, number 8. Oh, there he is.
All right.
So if you think about it, it wasn't that bad if you think about the age.
Don't sit down. Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Madam Secretary, would you call the roll, please?
Archie, Baronis,
Present.
Bolin,
Here.
Gathing,
Present.
Johnston,
Here.
Verrett,
Present.
Williams.
Okay, if you would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Right behind you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, we'll move into the superintendent's report. Dr. Walters?
So we're going to start with instruction. In your packet, you have the class of 2028 graduation requirements, and there are no changes from the previous class. So it's not working. So I don't know if you have any questions about the graduation requirements for the class of 2028, but it is informational. It's in your packet. Also, I know that the board will not be able to attend the National Honor Society induction tomorrow because you'll have interviews for the next superintendent. But just to give you some information about the National Honor Society inductees, there were 167 students eligible to be inducted into the National Honor Society based purely on GPA, which is a 3.5 or higher. In terms of the students that, out of those 167 that applied, 32 were selected, 6 sophomores, 15 juniors, and 11 seniors. And the selection process is first being eligible with the 3.5 or higher GPA, and then an analysis of their character and their service. And so that will be tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
Congratulations to them.
That is all for instruction.
Okay. Finance?
Good evening. So this evening, we thought it'd be appropriate to dissect the budget a little more.
Mr. Lewis, pull your microphone a little closer. Thank you.
Is that better? Much better, yes. We thought it would be appropriate to dissect the budget a little more, to give information, of course, to the board of exactly how we're expending state and local dollars as well as federal dollars. And I think this is very good information for all of you to have. So, of course, you adopted a $110 million spending plan. On the slide right now, you're just getting a snapshot of the budget by major object code. We want to give this snapshot a couple of ways. To your left, the $110 million you see is reflective of the $20 million that we're spending on the community center. And to the right, which is the W/O, is without the community center expenditures, what the budget would look like for the school system. This slide is got a lot of numbers on it, but I think it's very informational. We have what's called major functions. So, of course, we're a school district, so instruction is going to be where we're spending the lion's share of our money. Embedded in that $60 million that you see there is also the $20 million for the community center. And I delved a little deeper on the instructional side up top to your right, so you can see what we're spending in core instruction of $38.5 million. And of that of that $40 million, only 1.7 or 4% of it is for athletics. Because there's such a large number with instructional support, I thought it in order to give you some ideas of what's embedded in that $60 million. So instructional staff that is not necessarily tied to the instructional numbers per the Illinois Procurement and Accounting Manual are your nurses, are your guidance counselors, are your psychologists. They're not considered instructional, but those, of course, those positions, your librarians, are absolutely essential to have a holistic delivery of instruction. So I just wanted you all to see how those dollars are allocated. Also for schools, so embedded in the school office would be your principals, would be your clerical workers, your assistant principals. That's who's embedded in that work. Of course, there's $20.4 million I referenced for the community center, $7.4 million we spend on transportation, $3.9 million in nutrition services. I want to start calling it nutrition services as opposed to food services. And under other support, I gave a few examples over here so you all would know exactly what's embedded in there. Mr. Draper somewhere around here, and the very last one that I have is building repair. And of course, they're doing a great deal of building repairs. And also not listed here are your custodial staff. So just wanted to give you a snapshot of when you see the slide to your left, just you see those big numbers, but you don't always know what all is embedded in them. I wanted to give you a presentation this evening so you would know. Next, this is the spending plan that you've been looking at thus far this evening. This is with the $20.4 million. And notice on the next slide, you're going to see that 55% in orange drop when we take the community center expenditures out. And that's what this slide is reflecting. So I know there's a lot of information. This PowerPoint, of course, is going to be made available to the board, the public, or whoever would like to see it. All these numbers tie right back to the board adopted budget. And I'll yield for any questions.
Fine arts, like one of the discussions we had earlier was there's a miscommunication about the amount of resources spent on athletics versus fine arts. And so I don't know if you have it today.
I can be sure to pull it together because I put this together pretty quickly, so I'll make sure I'll follow up on your next superintendent's report and I'll break that down even further.
Okay, because one of the things that we started doing with Mr. Grossi is that we would show you the breakdown of expenditures with athletics versus fine arts, because we want to break that belief that there's more resources, excluding the community center, there's more resources pushed towards athletics and fine arts, because that's actually not true. And so what we want to do is on a quarterly basis present the amount of funding that we commit towards fine arts versus the amount of money that we spent towards community center. Towards athletics. And the other thing that I wanted to make sure is there's a little bit of miscommunication about it. The community center is not just an athletic facility. So, no, it's not. I think that's a running joke, but it is a community center that we can have robotics contests. The band can participate there instead of being out on, it used to be at LCC, and then we started coming to the field. There's all kinds of things that can be done in the community center that we weren't able to do with the current facility, beyond just athletics.
I got a question. So right now we're spending a lot of money in the orange, because that includes the field house, right? And all the other maintenance products. So it seemed like, whatever. So it seemed like we're spending a lot of money and we're running it at a little bit of a deficit. Am I right?
We're running a little bit of a deficit.
Yes. Okay, I thought I understood you when you talked at the last meeting. So that's not something permanent, and the only reason we're running in that is because of all the construction that we have going on?
Correct.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure everybody understands that that's not nothing that's going to be permanent. And it's only
Oh, no.
because.
No, sir.
So in a couple of years, when all this is over with, we're going to normalize out.
Things are going to smooth back out. In fact, I've already had
So
to.
we're not in the red.
I had to. No, sir, we're not.
Okay, well, I was told we're in the red, so I just wanted to make sure we wasn't in the
No,
red.
sir, we're not in the red. I can
Okay.
assure you that. No.
So do we know what our current fund balance is?
It's about 23 million.
Huh?
Our current reserves, cash in bank, is about 23 million.
I couldn't hear you.
Our current reserves are 23 million.
Okay, yes, I thought it was. All right.
Okay. So the last thing for the business office, and this I'm going to take responsibility for because I don't think that I completely understood the concern around having an additional gravel road. And so I think I finally did understand it after our agenda setting meeting. So I thought that we were looking for a way for visitors to leave, so an egress. I thought we were looking for a second egress. But what we're really looking for is to make sure that emergency vehicles can get to the field, the baseball field, the softball field, soccer, football, or to the back of the community center. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. So now that I understood that, because I didn't understand that, I just wanted to clarify to the board. On February 9th, we had a meeting. Myself, I was present, Mayor Curtis, Mr. Savage, who was at the time Assistant Superintendent of Business, Dan Petrarca, who's our employee representative, Ed Wright, one of our architects, Brian Pinchak is the architect, Frank Bakunis from the regional office, Mr. Yu, he is also from the architectural firm, Jay Glascott, who is the DLA engineer, which is our architectural firm, Mr. Pigash, who's the city engineer, Mr. Abrams from our architectural firm, another engineer, and Ed Jacko, who's from the fire department. At this meeting, there was a discussion around ensuring that emergency vehicles could get to the back of the community center and to the baseball, softball, soccer, and football field and track. So there was a lengthy discussion, and the agreement at that time on February 9th was that we would widen and thicken 2 sidewalks and add a fire lane on the west side of the building. And so one of the things that was questioned is where did our $500,000 that was allotted towards change orders, where did that money go towards? Part of that money was this change in thickening the sidewalks and widening the sidewalk and having a fire lane, and the landscaping that was requested by the city of Kankakee. I don't know exactly how much of the $500,000 was allocated towards landscaping and changing the design so that we had thicker sidewalks. I can check because that information was sent to me by the architects. But that's an explanation of our plan to make sure that emergency vehicles can get to that area. Are there any questions that I can answer? If I can't answer it, I can talk with the architect.
So when we make it to play East St. Louis again at our home field, all the emergency vehicles will have their own personal driveway to get up? Because everybody was there at the game.
So,
Fire engines, ambulance, police, everybody was there.
So the police department worked really well with us on this because I have to be honest with you, I was nervous about the number of people that were going to be there. And so the number of police officers, that was planned 100%. And so not that we thought something was going to happen, to me that's insurance. We just have to make sure.
I'm just saying the amount of emergency vehicles that was there.
If we were to play East St. Louis next year, so all of that fencing would be gone, and it would be easier to get to the building. And if there was a true emergency, like a catastrophic emergency, cars can get out on the other side of the community center on the grass, if it was a catastrophic emergency, where we had to get people out quickly. Any other questions?
No, I was just, asking that question. I've been funny because, everybody was there, just making up reasons to be there at the game.
It was a beautiful thing.
When you got fire trucks, not one, fire trucks at the game, Okay, I'm good.
So can I make a comment about that? So the support from the entire Kankakee community, not just Kankakee, city of Kankakee, but the county, it was really nice at that East St. Louis.
No, state police. Yeah,
And yeah, it was wonderful.
I agree.
But there was no incidents at all,
No.
except that we should have won. So that's it.
Okay. HR, Ms. Fountain?
Good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Walters. Just want to reiterate, we talked about this previously, about the unions, that the district has 7 unions: teachers and instruction union, classroom and special education para-union, clerical union, custodial, skilled labor, food service, and transportation. We do, again, have several contracts up for negotiations, and we're currently in the midst of negotiations. For the teachers, it's just a reopener. For finance only. Paraprofessionals, we will be entering into negotiations soon because their contract is up, June 20 of 24. Clerical was reopened early, so we will not have negotiations until 2026. Custodial is up this year as well, so we will start negotiations for the custodial contract that ends June 2024. Skilled laborers is 2026. Cooks, food service is June of 2026. And transportation, we are moving forward with negotiations. We have interest from a union, so we will be negotiating with them very soon. I know that the board also would like to be kept abreast of how many vacancies each of the buildings have, and so I will try to update you monthly about the vacancies that are in the buildings along with the instructors. So Pregler right now has 1 vacancy with 0 instructors. Taft, 0 vacancies with 4 instructors. Twain, 1 vacancy with 4 instructors. Edison, 0 vacancies with 3 instructors. Steuben, 0 vacancies, 0 instructors. King, 3 current vacancies with 5 instructors. Kennedy, 2 vacancies with 12 instructors. LCC, 0 vacancies, and these are teaching vacancies, with 2 instructors. The junior high, 6 vacancies with 8 instructors. The high school, 7 vacancies with 38 instructors. And Avis, 1 vacancy with 2 instructors. Again, the numbers will change as we hire, or if there are any resignations, those numbers will change. So they will be fluid, and we will keep you up to date about the vacancies and the instructors. Although we have some current vacancies, those are not open classrooms because they are filled with substitute or guest teachers. Are there any questions?
Any questions from the board?
Yep.
Mr. Williams?
So we're currently under 20 vacancies for the district.
I'm sorry.
We're under 20 vacancies for the district?
For
teaching.
For teaching positions, but when you look on the website, you may see 49 vacancies, but that is for clerical, food service, custodial.
Yeah, I'm just talking about for teachers,
Yes, so those are just for teaching.
just for teachers.
Yes.
Okay, and then also, we're going to hire some more permanent subs until we can get more teachers or instructors.
Well, the building has been allowed to hire permanent subs. When we have applicants, and if there are people out there, they will hire, but they have been given permission to hire for permanent subs.
Oh, so it's not as catastrophic as some people might say. It's not as catastrophic as some people might say then. We're not that bad. I'm talking about as far as teachers, not everybody.
Well, we have 20 vacancies. Well, we have those vacancies again. They are filled with substitute teachers if there's not an instructor or a certified teacher
Okay.
in that position.
All right. I just, you hear things, and I just want to straighten it out.
So So can I add, there is a teacher shortage.
Well, we know that.
It's
We
a
know that.
national, I just want everybody to kind of know, there is a national teacher shortage. And so what I've been encouraging the administrators to do is to look at creative ways of recruiting candidates before they graduate from college. So as soon as we can get a hold, like, we should increase, I don't know if I even want to say this on so that other people can hear our strategy. Because it is a competitive situation out there with licensed teachers. It's extremely competitive.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you know, if you listen to certain people, you think it's worse than what it is. So I'm glad you put the numbers up there to show people it's not as bad as what the word is on the street.
So no, we have most of our classrooms are covered.
Yeah, that's my point I was trying to make. Okay.
Ms. Johnston?
I'm going to ask the question again. I think I asked it about 2 or 3 months ago. If someone comes into our district and is qualified, licensed, certified, however you want to explain it, and they want one of the jobs that is taken by a instructor, will that instructor be moved in order to make way for an actual certified teacher?
So I'm going to answer that question. So let's just say that we have a PE teacher, PE instructor, because we have a lot of PE instructors, that has been working with the kids from September until December. And so a licensed PE teacher comes and says, I want you out of that position, I want to take that position. During the school year, we would not do that. We would hire that licensed teacher, even if it meant that we had to overhire, but we wouldn't necessarily allow them, and I'm going to say allow them, to go and pick a position and say, I want you out, because that affects the students as well if the students have developed a relationship with that instructor. And so at the following year, the licensed teachers are placed first, and then the instructors are placed in positions. But during the middle of the school year, we wouldn't do that.
And it doesn't.
Follow up with that.
It doesn't mean that they won't have a position. Contractually, we owe all of our staff a position. We have management rights to decide who goes into which position.
Well, you said PE. How about a actual classroom,
Like an English teacher.
English, math, algebra 2?
So I don't even want to say this in specifically because it gets to personnel. So let's just say that we had a science teacher, which we don't, a science instructor that was doing a really poor job, and then we found a licensed science teacher. That would be different. Because if that instructor was struggling, then we would move that instructor into a position, because we still owe that person a position unless we put together a system of termination, which comes from the building administrator. We would move that person because they were performing poorly. But if we had a math teacher at the high school that is doing extremely well and is at 100% grade level materials, which TNTP had never said that we'd seen that, we wouldn't hire a licensed math teacher in his place this current school year because he's doing a really good job.
So then that teacher that we would not hire will go to a different district and we would not have access
No,
to.
I didn't say we wouldn't hire them. I said we would not allow them to say, we have like 300 positions, teaching positions.
Right.
They couldn't say one out of the 300, that's the position that I want, and who's ever in that position has to come out so I can have that position. We would hire them, but we have the management rights to place them where we think it would be in the best interest of the students.
With the knowledge that next year they would possibly go into the classroom.
Well, we might hire them in a classroom, but we wouldn't necessarily allow them to say, I want Rachel's position because that's the position that I want, and I want Rachel out of the position. Does that make sense?
No, it does make sense. My question is then, so those teaching positions that are currently filled with instructors, those are not posted as openings, is that correct? And the reason I ask that is because based on your theory, like you were just explaining, if I applied for a science or a second grade teaching position that is currently filled by an instructor, if I'm going on the website to apply specifically for a job position, so I guess that's where I'm asking is the clarification. Are those instructor positions posted currently to be filled by certified teachers?
So I want the principals to stand up because the principals actually do the hiring. All the principals, I need you to stand up.
I understand the hiring process.
No, I want them to, because I don't know this answer.
Oh, okay.
And so, and neither would Ms. Fountain. How many licensed teachers have you had in the application portal to interview one at a time? Starting with Taft. Is Taft here? Yes. Okay, and have a seat once you say answer. LCC? You didn't have any openings. Mark Twain? Okay. Edison? Barnett? I'm sorry, I said Barnett. I'm sorry. Kennedy? 0. Junior high? King. So it's a discussion that has not happened. We haven't had licensed teachers except last year, and that was one person, apply and then not get the
That's
position.
not what I'm asking. I'm asking those certified teaching positions that are currently filled by instructors, are those positions, I'm not asking who's applying, are those positions listed as open positions on our website? So come next year, all those instructor positions, would they be posted again to see if a certified teacher would apply? That's just what I'm asking. Are they listed? Are we ever looking to cover them with a certified teacher?
So those positions are not posted if it is filled by an instructor, but every year at the beginning of the year, we post positions and openings, even if we don't, say, for instance, have something open, because we want to make sure that we do get teachers, licensed teachers or instructors in order to fill that position.
Okay.
But once we hired an instructor who they are also part of the union, we do close that position. But around February, as we start to open up new positions for the district and all the buildings, we will post those positions.
Thank
But
you. That
the
was my question.
But the instructors, they are also entitled to have a job as well.
No, and I understand that. I just wanted to make sure that those, if that's what was happening at the next school year, those positions were posted.
But you're talking about now.
No, I'm talking about every year, do we try to fill them?
So at the beginning of this year, last February, we posted all of the
Okay.
open positions. No, as the principal stated, no licensed teachers apply. And so we were grateful and thankful that the instructors came and did take those positions.
Right, and that was never my question, if they're applying or not. I just wanted to just asking what the process was. That was my only question.
So there was a time when we kept all of those positions posted, and then out in the community, they said that we had like 100 openings when we really didn't. The instructors were in those positions.
And I understand that. I completely understand that what you're doing. Just
Okay,
I know the process.
Yeah.
any other questions?
Deb has one.
Yeah, I have another one.
Okay, Ms. Johnson?
So the 38 instructors at the high school, will those 38 positions, when the school year ends, will they be posted as openings for next year? Knowing that there's a new flock of kids coming out of college that might want a job, but they see that we don't have any openings, so why would they apply?
So that
But
would-
there actually is openings.
So that would be a building principal's decision. We can have a conversation.
Okay,
Can
another
I
question.
finish? Can I finish?
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you did.
So that would be a building principal's decision, because again, like Dr. Walter said, if we have someone that's doing a really, really good job with the students, then we will look at what's best for the students. But the principals, at around February, they send me their openings. That is up to them to send me what openings they have in their buildings. I don't work in their buildings, so I don't know what openings they have. But in February, they send me everything that needs to be filled, and they also fill out a position for hire recommendation. So whoever they would like to, whatever positions they would like to be open, they just send it to HR, and we post those positions.
Can I
But we
just-
don't do that.
I just have to make a comment. It might be me getting on my soapbox. So 100% we want to hire licensed teachers. That's our first priority. And what we have done is we've posted positions that didn't exist in the hopes of getting licensed teachers to apply. But I think that at the next board meeting, I want to bring the difference between 10 years ago, how many teachers were in the teacher education programs across Illinois, and what we have now, because there aren't many licensed teachers out there. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I don't want the next superintendent to be set up for failure with expectations that are not based on what is out there in terms of licensed teachers. Because if we do have teachers that are reportedly telling the instructors that you have just 6 months left and then you have to go. Like, so if you pull up that thing, I just, as a citizen of Kankakee, I want us to be really careful about our instructors feeling like we don't value them. Not that the board has said anything, but I have had instructors complain about comments that were made to them in their buildings.
Can I make a comment? What I was going to comment, I'm right here. What I was going to comment was that there's a lot of back and forth going on, and I don't want to discredit the work that our instructors are doing. So we have some great instructors, we have some great teachers. And so the instructors that we have in place, thank you for your time, thank you for your talent, thank you for stepping up and stepping in a time when we're in a crisis. And so we appreciate what you are doing. Yes, in the perfect world, we want to hire everyone that's licensed, but this world isn't perfect. And so here we are. And so thank you all the instructors who have applied and stepped in to help our district and get our students in a learning environment. Thank you all so much.
How many instructors do we have?
So I need Mr. Aarons or someone from K's Media to pull my presentation back up.
So for me, this is important because I know that some of the instructors have reported to us that there are licensed teachers that are literally telling them that when Dr. Walters leaves, you won't have a position. I just want to make sure that we understand the magnitude of the issues if the instructors are all let go at the same time. And I know that that's not what you all are implying at all. I just want to make sure that we understand what we're looking at. So we're looking at basically 8, 9, 10, 11 on the first page. Go to the next one.
A total of 78.
How many?
78.
So we have 78 instructors. And so if they were all to leave at the same time, we do not have 78 applicants for those positions. We don't even have 2 applicants for the 78 positions. So, and I'm not saying that to say that that's what you're implying. I'm saying that to say that in the buildings, there are teachers that are saying to the instructors, you better get licensed or you won't have a job. I think we have to be careful because of the magnitude of what would happen if we lost all those instructors.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, one more, and it doesn't have to do with the instructors. The 12, I don't know if it was instructors at Kennedy. Like the number.
They're instructors.
Okay, so is it instructors, or is that where we are using Elevate?
Benita
So I'm going to have Ms. Arsenal, if she can answer that.
said, Ms. Arsenal, that was wrong.
Did you use, you used Elevate last year though, right? Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Fountain.
You're welcome.
Okay, we're to the principal's report. Ms. Arsenault?
Good evening, Board President, Mr. Boland, school board members, Dr. Walters, and stakeholders that have joined us this evening. I am Benita Arsenal Anderson, principal here at Kennedy Middle Grade School. Before I give my principal's report, I would like for any Kennedy staff members that are here tonight to please stand. These individuals standing are the backbone of Kennedy. They make day-to-day learning possible for our students. Please give them a round of applause. You may be seated. Mr. Marcello Robinson, please stand. Mr. Robinson is the assistant principal here at Kennedy. He is a great addition to our team. He came about 4 or 5 weeks into the school year, and he has come in blazing the trail for changing the climate and the culture of our staff and students. I would like to take this time to publicly thank the amazing staff at Kennedy for all they do and for striving to make a difference in our students' lives. Kennedy School has 2 retirees this school year. Neither one of them are here today, but we have Mrs. Terry Roundtree and Mrs. Lorna Vinson. We would like to thank them for their years of service in Kankakee School District. We also have our district leader, Dr. Janera Walters, retiring this school year. I call Dr. Walters a visionary. The word visionary, by definition, is a person thinking about or planning the future with imagination or wisdom. A person with original ideas about the future, what it will be or what it could be like. This indeed embodies the definition of what Dr. Walters is for us. Dr. Walters taught many of us how to look beyond tradition to meet student needs. She is not afraid to be the change that she wants to see. She is not afraid to be the innovator of the new normal in education. There are many things that can be said, but tonight we want to just give a simple thank you for your years of service in education and to our community. May the next part of your journey be filled with your mission and purpose. We have a few gifts for you that Mr. Robinson is going to present.
Oh, this is...
Lastly, as we prepare to show a short video of things that are happening at Kennedy this school year, I would like to give a special thanks to our board president, Mr. Boland, for the donation of books to our school library. Mr. Boland has added several new titles to our growing collection, and we're thankful for that. We had ComEd and NICOR donate energy conservation kits to our 5th grade student body, which is over 125 students. The kits provided things like energy efficient light bulbs, shower heads, water aerators, and much more. Tom Praximer of WeatherTech in Bolingbrook donated several boxes of hand sanitizer to help reduce germs in our cold and flu season here at Kennedy. We've also had local churches and organizations donate scarves, hats, gloves to our students, and we are so grateful for the support that we get here at Kennedy. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and have our video played of some of the amazing things that are happening at Kennedy Middle Grade School. Upon completion of the video, Mr. Robinson will give a few words. Thank you.
All right, really quick. I'll make mine really quick. So, my story for Dr. Walters, I met her in Black History Month, long time ago. I think it was like 89 or 90. And we had to do Black History Month, and she picked me to be Martin Luther King. She taught me the speech. I knew it forever until I graduated high school, and now I forgot it, but I knew the speech forever. I said to say this, Dr. Walters has been helping our community for a long time. I'm 41 years old, be 42 next week. And she's been consistent in our community forever since I've been around. I came back home to be the principal here, and I've seen a lot of familiar faces of people that I grew up with, and she's given them opportunities to have jobs. In hindsight, it seemed like a job, but for me, for the people I grew up with, it's changing their kids' lives. A lot of us didn't have mothers and fathers growing up. Myself, speaking of one, didn't have a father figure. She's given the fathers and the mothers job opportunities in our community, here in the school, to teach their kids how to be successful. I think I'm an example of that myself. But she's been a leader in our community for a long time. I want to say thank you for the opportunity and all the opportunities given all our people in our community.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're to the public comments. Find my... When I call your name, if you'll come up and give your name and address to direct your comments to the President and the Board. The President will recognize members of the audience who wish to make comments to the Board regarding any topics related to school district business. The Board will take all comments under advisement without discussion, which means the Board will not respond tonight. If a member of the public raises an issue or concern that requires follow-up, the Board President or Superintendent will do so in a timely manner. Please give your name and direct your comments to the Board, the President, and the Board. Comments are limited to 5 minutes, and please make no personal attacks. All individuals are to conduct themselves with respect and civility towards others. First name on the list is Alderman Sharon Malone Marshall.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'd like to say thank you for allowing me to speak to the board and Superintendent. I'm Cherry Malone Marshall. I am a resident here in the city of Kankakee, and I attended a meeting in October, and at that time I heard a public comment being made about, I think it was on October the 10th, and during that time it was kind of disturbing to hear that the superintendent of schools had been called a hired hand during one of the board meetings. I did go back and I did watch the board meeting, and I did see that that was true. But what I was here for tonight is because at that time, the other resident that came to the mic had requested that some action be taken by the board president calling the superintendent of schools a hired hand. And I just feel like we as a community should not sweep something like that under the rug. I think we should have it addressed, and I think a public apology should be made to the superintendent so that the community can know that this type of behavior is not something that's acceptable here in the city of Kankakee. And I would just like to see that happen, and I just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware that there's also a situation coming up as far as us naming the building for our community center. And there has been so much done by Superintendent Gennaro Walters here in the city of Kankakee. And I just would like to say a few words on the different projects that she has brought to the city of Kankakee or helped establish. The youth employment this summer, those children were so happy to be able to work, and they helped their families out so much by being able to work. They also had the Kankakee food truck that was feeding in all areas, all of the activities that we had in the different communities. They were coming and they were feeding. We were also providing, she was also making sure that internet was provided to families and homes that did not have internet. There are so many areas that she has partnered with the National Illinois Food Bank, the state's attorney for community, the telecom pioneers to provide new shoes for students. I mean, I myself have always tried to provide for our community on the north side by having a back-to-school bash. So these are the type of things that I look at, and I would just like to, make sure that the nomination for Dr. Janera Walters to be named on that building is heard by this community. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Alderman Marshall. Rodney Lake.
Board President, Dr. Walters, I would like to address the board in reference to the naming of the new community center as well. In most, if not all, cases, things are dedicated to those who labored and made an impact or have been an influence on that which is dedicated. For instance, the Miller Senior Living would be named after Robert G. Miller, who helped establish the Riverside Medical Center. The Otis Pace, who established the Eastside Bulldogs, who's labored there for nearly 50 years, had the field at River Road Park named after him. So I would want to encourage the board that you would consider naming the new community center after someone who had much to do with it, someone who had a vision, someone who had a part in the planning, implementation, as well as the execution of the building of this facility that will serve our community. I think it would be an embarrassment to the community and to the school board to name this building after anyone other than the visionary behind it, Dr. Janera Walters. It's amazing that those across the state can hold our superintendent in a position of honor, and we try to humiliate her for our own personal reasons. Let us not forget all that she has brought to this district to help our children to become more competitive in academics, arts, and athletics. When I graduated from this high school in 1985, we had a home ec room the size of a kitchen with a small pantry. Now we have a culinary arts, a commercial kitchen that will help our kids to learn the culinary arts and be competitive, as well as business departments and other departments that they can specialize in. She will leave the next superintendent something they can pick up and run with. And we have to get away from this mentality that if we cannot control a person, we will destroy the person, because no injustice will go unpunished before God. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lake. Hamim Lillard.
How's it going? I guess the hardest part about being here is so many good things I could say about Dr. Walters. First and foremost, I want to thank you for giving me a dream job. I didn't even consider when I was community outreach specialist as that being a job. It felt like I was doing what I was brought here or born to do. I also want to say that, yeah, I hear a little things here and there about Dr. Walters, but the one thing I can say about her is she focuses on foundation and a safe place environment for the students. I feel like no matter how good an instructor or a licensed teacher is, if the environment is not safe, then the kids probably won't get the best out of it. So when I walk into like Kankakee High School, first thing I notice is I usually see Lavelle Hill. So that makes me feel like, hey, this is somebody that I grew up with in town. He's the first person I see. When I go to games, I see Jelon or Tay-Tay or different people that grew up in the community with us. And I know that she put them in positions that kids that are growing up, they seen them as well. So I want to say thank you for setting the foundation. A lot of people say that the next person will do this or do that. Well, to me, I feel like it should be easier for them because, once again, you set the foundation. So as long as the foundation is there, I feel like kids, they're willing to, open up about their feelings, about their tragedies, about, maybe coming from a one-parent or no-parent household, things of that nature. I just want to say thank you for all that you've done in the community, and I hope that the next person could even live up to what you've given. This all started with me just seeing all the changes, and I just hit Dr. Walters like, hey, when I look at Kankakee High School or any of the schools in the district, I just feel elated to know that we've come such a far way from when I was here. When I see Marcello Robinson, Joy, and Principal Rose, I know that she's giving back to the community because this is what the kids look up to, and we feel closer to home, should I say. So everything that come out, I'm sorry I didn't write any notes down or anything, but I just want to say thank you and continue to do all that you do. I do want to get back active in the school district, no rushing in that, but however I can help or give back to the community, I want to do the same thing. So sorry guys, I'm a little nervous and everything that come out right, but I think you get the point. Thank you for the foundation and a safe environment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lillard. Alderman Reggie Jones.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
President Bolin, Dr. Walters, school board members, truly I thank God for all of y'all and the work that y'all have given to this community and your tireless efforts that you have shown and your commitment to our community. President Bolin, I want to say, I know you've been up under a lot of heat, and I'm going to say this publicly because I know President Bolin, sometimes we all may say something that we may not mean to say or how we say it, but I'm going to tell everybody, I know the man and I understand the man and what he's done, not only for me, but for the community and his leadership that he's shown. And I know he's a guy with character, and I wanted to say that publicly. We may always agree, but at the end of the day, and I've told Dr. Walters that, but we can always we don't have to be disagreeable. But I think for all of the board and all of the teachers that have got us through COVID, man, it's been a lot that went on and a lot of things that happened. I just wanted to say personally thank y'all, because I know it's a task, and y'all don't even get paid. And sometimes people don't even realize what y'all give out. And those that ran, it's your first time here, and I just wanted to tell y'all thank you. The reason why I'm really also here tonight is because I'm so proud of our superintendent tonight for the 10 years that she has given to us. It's 9 now, but she's almost there at 10. And I thank her for the commitment that she has shown. And a lot of people don't understand when you've given so much. And I as a preacher, you see everything. And when she lost her husband, she still kept pushing for kids. And, you're raising your son. Doc, I saw all of it, and you pushed him to a level with all of the hurt. And some people don't always understand what a person goes through. But not only that, then you kept attacking the job that you started. And I was just looking at some of your achievements, and it's big. I'm from Virginia, and I'm thinking we big. But Dr. Walters put us on a plateau that we should all be proud of. I mean, when they told me, we can go all the way back, y'all the football guy, I heard about the football field. Then all of a sudden, next thing you know, it shows up, turf field. I'm like, wow, that's $1 million. We watered the field, Coach Deb and all that stuff. And then next day, that was there. Then the school was old and dilapidated. Next thing and I may not be putting it all in the right time frame, but y'all know how it was. It was one thing after another, even through all of the hurt. See, some people don't know what a person goes through. Just because they make a couple of dollars, they still are raising children. Things are happening in their life. And, I'm like, man, I got help. Thank God for my wife. However, to keep pushing, and next thing you know, this year, a bus company. I'm like, that's crazy. I said, ain't no way we're going to get a bus. I said, you can't keep that one. Oh, man, wait a minute. We got a bus company. I mean, you've created a bus company, jobs for so many people. I'm telling you what I see. And then when the center was going up $26 million, I saw public safety, and I saw young men, especially, the black men in our community, having somewhere to go. It's something different that they need, because that was big. And I'm saying, wow, the young men gonna have now, and the ladies, not just for sport, but everything that's going to be involved with it. And trust me, I believe we'll get the money. Don't be tripping on money, man. We all right. Because she found the $26 million grant. And I said, I don't know how you did that. And, I told her we need to hire her at the city. I told her, man, give her a job, finding $26 million. Thank you for the $26 million. And not only that, simply, I have 3 children, board members that come through Kankakee School District. I'm bragging on my teachers and all. Y'all know I don't really care about the infight, what y'all do, because I love all of y'all. That's just a big family. We just family. That's going to happen like that. My teachers raised the kids, board members fuss, but we are one family. We are one family. And I wanted us to know that you've got kids, Kankakee, that are all over the country because of what? This educational system. My kid graduated from NIU. I've got some other kids, I take all the kids graduating out of Florida, out of Michigan. This is what Kankakee has produced under the leadership of Dr. Waters here today. And I wanted just to say about 2 more preacher minutes and I'm good. All right, I just want to let you know.
Before you go.
Because I'm so excited, and I may be forgetting stuff, but over 10 classes graduated, so we know that's well over 3,000 children that come through the district. These are just real numbers. And one thing I know, the commitment that she gave to the kids, even when they were messed up, she still never gave up on the children. And I thank her for that, with the visionary that she given to us. And tonight I'm asking, and I'm begging, I beg, I ain't got no problem with it, President. I'm begging that we would make sure we do the right thing and give the proper name to the person that I believe is sitting here that deserves it. She didn't ask me to do all of this, no, the person that deserves it. Hey, if the person deserves it, we need to give it to him. Thank you all so much. And also, that track might have to have a name too. I'm going to just leave it like that, all right? And I'm looking at somebody that I believe is deserved. I think Jesse Gathers, his name needs to be on that. All right? Jesse Gathers, that track will look real good. See, I'm a member of the community, so I can do that, all right? Thank you all for giving me overage to be able to brag on my leadership team. President Boland, thank you so much for your commitment, all right? And I don't know how to spell Dr. Waters. That Genera thing kind of throw me off, but yeah.
Thank you, Alderman Jones. Alderman Michael Prude.
It throws a lot of people off. Threw me off, too.
You learned.
President Boland, to the school board, I just want to say, I remember when this school district was in disarray. Money wasn't there. Everything was going bad. And I just happened to see on Facebook where I seen Dr. Walters was at another school and how that school was flourishing. They found grants and this and that. And I was like, man, this is a homegrown. We need her back in Kankakee. And when that job came up, I inboxed her and I said, please apply for that job. And she did. And within her tenure, this school board was turned all the way around the school district. Money was found. Those people that were taking money, spending money where it shouldn't have been spent, and all that stuff stopped. We got over $31 million in the school system now. We know the work that she's done. My seatmate came up, she said some of the things that she's done, so I don't want to go back over that. But the bottom line is that it would be a travesty if we do not give her honor where honor is due. And we never give honor to our own people. That's biblical. But this woman deserves everything she's gotten through this school. She's worked with the kids. I'm a part of youth empowerment. We go out in the streets and we serve disabled people, seniors, for free, cutting their grass. That never happened before. We paying our kids $15 an hour to do work. That never happened before. I'm saying right now, this school board, and I'm asking you, and I ain't begging you because you need to do the right thing, and name this building after somebody that has done the work that she's done for this school. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Prue. Commissioner Robert Ellington Snipes.
To the distinguished members of the board and to the Dr. Walters and all it takes to make this sitting, I have two comments and then I'll be out your way. The first one is I'm going to probably encourage you all to encourage others to follow the school code. I think it's very important. We had it, I know, at King, and some kind of way it drifted. But the school code says this. It says, the Illinois School Code 105, ILC 527-12 reads in part, character education. Every public school teacher shall teach character education, which includes shall teach. It's not directory, it's shall teach. That's everybody in the state of Illinois. Shall teach character education, which includes the teaching of respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, trustworthiness, and citizenship in order to raise pupils' honesty, kindness, justice, discipline, respect for others, and moral courage for the purpose of lessening crime and raising the standard of good character. That's out of your school code. So during CBE time, since it's in the beginning, I think that that would be appropriate, even if it's just 15 minutes. We need to teach it. Now, my second request to the board is I am here also to echo the sentiments that the building needs to be named after Dr. Walters, but for all different reasons. I come out the projects of Chicago, the Robert Taylor homes, and so therefore they said that you had three things: dead, drugs, or in jail. Well, I'm not dead. I'm not on drugs. I've been to the prison, but I was working there. I had to be there for 8 hours. And it's from that standpoint that I seeing bright minds behind walls that if they were properly educated, they would not have been there. I've seen some of the best artists, individuals that read books and could have graduated with PhDs based upon the knowledge that they retained, but they didn't get that opportunity in the streets. So when I look at what it costs to educate a child versus incarceration in a penitentiary, it's far easier for us to educate a child. Dr. Walters is one of the individuals in the 29 years that I've worked for the school district. Now, as I tell the students, I worked for the Department of Corrections in Pontiac, the Thunderdome, and I also worked at Shapiro, which is developmentally disabled, so you're not crazy enough or bad enough for me to deal with. However, in my 29 years here, I've seen in the last 9 years a lot of development that has occurred. This board has anchored behind Dr. Walters and a lot of things, classroom expansions and you name it, but the employment of the youth was one of the ones that I consider to be a starlight, because that creates safety into your community. Instead of these individuals having nothing to do in your community, instead of them engaging in any criminal activity, they're working for a living, and you're teaching them that through your youth empowerment. You're teaching them to now work for a living, earn the money, and now they're being good stewards, called financial literacy. That is something that happens right now while they are in school, and those individuals who have left school but have come back to be employed. You see them all over. Kankakee has a new dimension. You see it all over, the feeding of individuals for free, mind you, in the community. All of the accomplishments that was done up under the umbrella of her 9 years here is impeccable. So I could think of no better person for this building to be named after as a legacy, not only of what she has done in the school district, but I think if you was to take a vote among the students, they would probably by far choose Dr. Walters. If you were to go into the community, and in my district, there are 4 schools: LCC, King, Edison, and Steuben. I have more schools in my district than any other county board member. And from that, when I look at the students, and then I work at the high school, and I work probably at every school that I know every grade level. So I've been around. I got my pulse on up on what I call School District 111. I have not seen, and I've been under Kay Green and many of the others, not to say that, slight them and say that they have not done, but they have not done as much as Dr. Walters. And so for that reason and that reason alone, what better way to send out the accolades than to say, let's name this community center after Dr. Walters. Vision completed. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Antoine Moore.
Board members, everybody in attendance. This is very frustrating. I hate that I have to be back up here again. The last time I came up, I was asking that we had a public apology for the statement of the superintendent being called a hired hand. That type of ignorance just can't have in a school board. We haven't had no accountability for that statement. The school board haven't held him accountable for the statement. We have had all type of racial stuff happen in the school board in the school district, as far as a teacher calling a kid an N-word, librarians throwing away black books, and now the president calling the superintendent a hired hand. Those type of ignorant statements shows the person that you are. So we are asking for the school board to hold this person accountable the same way he publicly made that statement. We asking for a public apology. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Octavia Smith. Octavia Smith.
No, the boys are doing. The boys are doing it in replay. That's not our boys.
Good evening. Me and myself, DeMonte May, and me and my fellow classmates, Braden Taylor,
Marquise Easley.
would like to give brief reasonings on why on why the community center or field house at the high school should be named after Dr. Janera Walters. Dr. Walters has been here for us every step of the way for many of us in the Kankakee School District 111. She has helped us get everything that we need in order to graduate and do well in school. She has also fought hard for us. She is the biggest reason why the community center is being built. She supports all students no matter what gender or race. She is also there to support us athletically and academically.
Many of us has known Dr. Walters for over 10 years, including myself. Dr. Walters has mentored us, put interventions in place for us so that we could become better students and better human beings. She has pulled us aside, talked to us personally about us doing our work, encouraged us to stay focused in school, and keeping us out of trouble as it relates to altercations.
Dr. Walters has created the Youth Empowerment Program. This helped many of us get a job, including all of us, when we could not have the opportunity to work to get us opportunity to work to help us get what we need. Also, the Youth Empowerment Program allows us to stay out of trouble. For these reasons, we ask the Board of Education to name the community center the Dr. Janera Walters Community Center. And lastly, on behalf of her children, her sister Joya, and the entire football and basketball team, we'd like to congratulate Dr. Walters and present her with flowers for being named the Illinois 2024 Superintendent of the Year.
Well, not anymore.
A plethora of gifts, sir. That's great.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. Moving on to the consent agenda. Are there any issues on the consent agenda that any board member wants to remove from the consent agenda? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Gathing. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Johnston. Any discussion regarding any issues on the consent agenda? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Baronis,
Yes.
Gathing,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Verret,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Bolin,
Yes. Motion carries 7 ayes, 0 no, or 6 ayes, 0 noes, excuse me. And moving on, action items. The first is approval of the 2024-2025 school calendar. Is there a motion for approval of that school calendar?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Gathing, seconded by Mr. Williams. Is there anything that we should know that's unusual about the calendar?
No, I don't think there's anything unusual.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions? If not, please call the roll.
Baronis,
Yes.
Gathing,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Verret,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Bolin,
Yes. Motion carries 6 ayes, 0 noes. The next item deals with the naming of the community center. And I would, until tonight, there had been no, well, that's not true. There had been one other request. There is a board policy on this issue, and I'm going to ask that the board table that issue and read publicly the board policy, which is policy 4:150. It says, recognizing that the name for a school building, facility, or ground or field reflects on the public image, the board's primary consideration will be to select a name that enhances the credibility and stature of the school or facility. Any request to name or rename an existing facility should be submitted to the board. When a facility is be named or renamed, the board president will appoint a special committee to consider nominations and make a recommendation, along with a supporting rationale to the board. The board will make the final selection. The superintendent or designate may name a room or designate some area on the school's property in honor of an individual or group that has performed outstanding service to the school without using the process in this policy. Until public session or public comment, the name was probably going to be the Kankakee School District 111 Community Center. However, in light of this, the discussions that have occurred tonight, I'm asking the board to move to table that the motion for choosing a final name and enact the policy. And those of you who have spoken in favor of naming the policy for Dr. Walters, I would request that you send something in writing. You can do that. I prefer it in writing to the board in the board office, which is actually Dr. Walters' office. And so I will then appoint a committee, and we will have that committee give us a recommendation. Do I have a motion to table?
Motion to table.
Motion by Mr. Gathing. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Johnston. Please call any discussion. Well, it's a motion to table, no discussion. Please.
Yes, I have a
There's no
question about that.
discussion on a motion to table.
Huh?
There is no discussion on a motion to table. You can make a statement when you come to your vote.
Well, it kind of went kind of fast, and I have a chance to bug in there. But when we renamed the track, we didn't have all of this, so what's the big deal?
What's that?
We renamed the track.
No, we didn't.
We didn't have to go through this. So if we didn't do this to rename the track, it's going to name at the use. I mean,
Well, the big deal is that we have a policy, and unless it's...
huh?
The big deal is that there is a policy.
I understand about the policy.
Just a minute. I'll let you ask your question.
No, I'm going to finish what
There
I'm
is a
saying because I heard the
All right.
policy.
There's no discussion
Okay.
on a motion to table, but you asked the question. There is a policy. We haven't voted to waive the policy. Let's follow the policy. I'm sure it will turn out. And
How come the policy's just not coming up out of nowhere?
what's that?
How come it's just not coming up out of nowhere?
Well, it was passed in November 14th of 1994, so it didn't come out of
I didn't
nowhere.
ask you that. That wasn't my question. My question was very clear. When we renamed other things, this policy never came up. Now all of a sudden the policy's up.
Since I've been on the board, there's not been anything renamed for anybody. So I don't know. I don't know what happened before us. All I can say is it's our job to follow our own policies or change them or waive them. So the motion is on the floor to table. Please call the roll.
Gathing,
Yes.
Johnston, Verret,
Yes.
Williams,
No.
Baronis,
Yes.
Bolin,
Yes. Motion carries 5 ayes, 1 no. please, if you have an interest in this issue, please send us a letter or an email. If that's the best, you can send it to Ms. Thornton, who is the board secretary or administrative assistant.
Excuse me, Mr. Bowler?
Yeah.
Can I make a statement right quick?
What's
Can I
that?
say something, please?
I can't hear
Can I
you.
say something, please?
Sure.
For the community members that came up and made this statement, can you please, I think there was a lot going on and maybe people lost what was supposed to happen. If you all could please put something in writing, give it to the board, and so that we can do it the right way, so it can happen the right way. That's all we're saying. So we're not discrediting anything anybody's saying. No one is opposing that it happens. We just wanted to do it the right way so that it won't ever come up again that it was done the wrong way and it will stay like it's supposed to stay. Okay?
Thank you, Ms. Brett.
Even though the discussion should have been before we did the roll. We should have had a discussion on this before we did the roll.
What you call?
If you check Robert's Rules of Order, which is our policy.
The table.
All right, hold on.
The table.
Let's move ahead. Information and proposals, those are listed in the agenda. Talks about the previous bill run and the graduation requirements. Old business, superintendent search update. For the next 2 nights, this board will be meeting for 4 hours and more each night, interviewing 8 candidates for each night for the position of superintendent. Following that, we hope to have 2, maybe 3 finalists that will follow up with a second interview. Uniform policy. This was requested to be put on the agenda, I believe, to determine if the board is still in support of the uniform policy. And so, Ms. Brent, do you have any, you want to make a motion? What would you like to do?
I just wanted to make a statement to ensure that the buildings are following the school dress code policy. Receiving a lot of information, a lot of phone calls from parents. We have indoctrinated a policy for the school uniform, and it's in the best interest of our district that we follow that policy. Myself personally, I visited buildings where students were not in compliance. I've driven by schools and saw students walking out with hoodies on and pajama pants and slides. So we want to ensure that we are teaching our students to follow rules and regulations. That is something that you learn that will go with you the rest of your life. And so to avoid any further discussions from parents and public comments with parents and students feeling singled out because some students are following the dress codes and some aren't, we need to ensure that everyone, all the building administrators are ensuring that the students are following the school policy for uniforms.
Is there anybody who, on the board, just to do a quick consensus, who is not in favor of continuing the uniform policy with input from the administrators? Is there anybody opposed to that concept?
No.
So in essence, we are in support of the policy.
Yes, we are.
It's a continuing.
We like to enhance. Mr. Bolin, I would like to see some things enhanced with our dress code. I've been to the schools, especially at the high school, and the colors, you'll see the colors, but a difference between leggings and jeggings and whatnot, I think we need to clarify or revisit those issues where some of those things are worn or can be worn or cannot be worn.
Can I?
Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
Sure. You want to wait and see if anybody else has comments?
Well, I'm sorry. Was there any other comments here?
So Rachel and I have. Oh,
I'm good.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Rachel and I have to. The first thing is that the jeggings or the leggings, the policy was enacted in January of 2015, and we talked with the seniors at that time, and they did not want the girls to wear jeggings or leggings because they were concerned of how it looked. And these were the seniors at that time, so they would have been the class of 2015. And so that was, so the agreement was that we were not allowing jeggings or leggings, and that was based on student input. We did add, since 2015, the Kankakee gear, and that's only the high school. I can't remember if we went down to the lower grades. We did? Okay, but the shirts only, but not the pants. So we relaxed the uniform policy from January 2015 when it was implemented to now. At the high school, the problem, in my opinion, is whether you have a uniform policy, and I know we all agree to it, but just for the high school to understand, whether we have a uniform policy or not, you still have to implement a dress code. And when I was at the assistant principal at the high school, the issues that they're having enforcing the uniform policy, we had the same issues enforcing the dress code. And so either they would let the dress code go, which I saw my first year, or they would constantly have to remind our students that they couldn't wear, you know, their body showing. So I'm right. So,
you're right.
At the high school, the staff have to understand that even if the uniform policy goes away, you still have to implement expectations in terms of what students wear. So it's still going to be the same issue. And then Rachel wants to say something about.
We do have applications for uniform assistance for any family that is having issues. You can come fill out an application in my office and you get 2 shirts per student. We don't have pants, but we do have 2 shirts to help out with that.
So.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
The issue that I'm having is when we started it, kids can get uniform readily easily. Now you can't find pants. So that's the only thing with me. I got a 6-foot-tall son and I can't find pants for him. And I think it'd need to be an amendment for the pants, not shirts, but if it's the pants or everything or the school colors and something like that. I know I've been told to get sweatpants, but you can't find sweatpants either. So I mean, you know, if we can do some amendment for the pants, that would be great, because you just can't find them.
So it's hard to find the sweats, but I need to remind the store at the high school to keep purchasing them when they run out, because I think in the past 6 weeks they've ordered 4,000 uniform sets, and they're gone within like 48 hours.
My goodness.
And so they just have to, like, when they're gone, they have to keep ordering them and just not say, okay, well, they're gone. And so, also we had that manufacturing area in the transition side, the Illinois, the ILDC, Independent Living and Development Center, and we need to start using it. So it should be a partnership with the high school, our transition students, and the athletic department. We can manufacture, or at least put Kankakee gear, and they need to start using that. We have the equipment, we purchased the equipment, we have the space. We need to start implementing manufacturing our own Kankakee gear, particularly for the uniforms.
And that'll be at an affordable price?
It would, and that's the reason why we have it. It would be at an affordable price.
I think the real purpose is to say we are, as a board, unified in the wanting to keep the policy. I don't think that means that we don't want reflection or reaction from administrators being run through the central office. So we have input. If there are things that need to be looked at or modified, we're open to doing that, but the underlying policy stays. I'm assuming we will have a night soon for Mr. Wilcox to parade his successes. Did Mr. Wilcox leave?
Yeah, he must have left.
Okay. Well, at any rate, I'm assuming we will celebrate the successes of the athletic department. The football team obviously won a season. The soccer team won a season. The girls volleyball team won a season. Softball, we've had, it's pretty amazing. Fine arts, I went to the high school play and was amazed at the acting of the young folks. I attended, I think Ms. Fountain was there also with the concert for the choirs and the dance recital. And I thought maybe you were going to tap dance up there with those young ladies. They were really, really good. They were amazing. But good things are happening. I'm sure I've left something out, and that's always the risk of lauding something, lauding a group, but all of it's been pretty amazing. And today, the Olivet Chapel King Upper Grade Center sent a contingent of, 300 kids, along with most of the other county schools, and to hear, for many kids, their first chance to hear a real orchestra play, and it was a pretty electric room, is how I would describe it. So good things are happening, and I think that's what I want to emphasize on that. So think of us, you'll see 2 agendas posted, one for tomorrow night, one for Wednesday night. Those are special meetings for the purposes of conducting the interviews. Anything else for the good of the order? Okay, motion to adjourn.
No. We don't want to adjourn.
No, we can't.
We want to recess?
No,
we're going to recess it?
No, we've posted the special meeting, so we're okay.
Yeah.
We can adjourn. Good catch, though. So I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Gathing, seconded by Ms. Barones. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.